Steve Barnes is a jack of all trades. Board member, goal kicker, coach, captain, goal umpire, radio announcer. He's done it all. His history is a rich tapestry of relationships in community football. There's some great stories. We'll hear just a few today. Join us for the Steve Barnes story.
Good boy, keep it going. It's away. What spot's Nigel playing you?
Sorry?
What spot is Nigel playing you?
About sort of centre half back.
Yeah?
Half back, so.
Holding that down all right?
Yeah, I like playing back. Yeah, just
Straight ahead, mate.
defensive role, but a bit of run off it as well, so.
Oh, good stuff.
Very good.
Good work.
Steve Barnes, thanks for your time.
My pleasure, Wiz. How are you?
All right, and
That's all right.
it's been a long journey for someone who's now Hall of Fame in the Southern competition, but it's been community football all of your life. Where did it start?
I guess from a senior level, McKinnon in the Federal League, mate. Under 16s, under 18s, champion undefeated Federal League premiers in the under 18s. That was a great day for all of us, and yeah, lucky to play amongst some real talented teammates at underage level. They carried me.
And moved into coaching fairly early too. Young man as a senior coach.
Yeah, I don't advise anyone to do it, but unless you want to make a quick earn.
It was different footy in those days, but the Corn was pretty good as a coach though, wasn't it?
It was, well, it was just something I never really thought of and was approached to do it, and after due consideration thought, well, we'll have a crack at it.
So as a senior football coach, still a young man, a young family to look after, money came in okay, and some success at McKinnon?
At a personal level, I guess, captain of the seniors at 19 in the Federal League, and that was a ripping competition, and lucky enough to win the BNF there in the seniors. So yeah, cherish those days. Great player we used to watch as a kid down there, Icy Hamilton, won 5 all-nut medals and wore number 3. In every game I played, I wore number 3. But
so he was the one that influenced you the most, yeah?
I just that's why I wore number 3. But I was only a patch on him as a player.
Yeah.
He was a champion, mate. I seen him drop kick a goal from the wing on the McKinnon ground, and he played some games with Carlton. And on a Sunday, my mates and I would go down there and sit in the stand there, and Icy would have the nets up. This is obviously post his playing days. He'd have the net up, and he'd have Rex Hunt, Greg Park, Maury Bartlett, Barry Breen, I think. He'd be teaching them kicking down there at the McKinnon ground because he was such a beautiful kick at the footy, and we'd just sit there in awe of it because. And if you ever got talking with Tommy Hafey and you mentioned Icy Hamilton, Tommy would go right off about, because he had him in at Richmond. And yeah, but that Donny Rainsford was captain coach there down there, and Don was a family friend, and he was a massive man, played some games with Carlton, and previously played with Glenn Huntley, and then came across as captain coach at McKinnon, and he'd call in at Mum and Dad's on a Sunday after the barrel, and it was just this giant of a man in my eyes. But yeah, always loved it between Bentley and McKinnon Footy Club as a kid growing up.
So good times off the field as well as on.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, great memories. But
managed to behave yourself most of the time?
Yes, I'm pretty shy, retiring sort of a bloke.
Not what I've heard,
Steve. We had some wonderful times down there at McKinnon. That was a home away from home down there. Was it big cricket season, footy season? Fantastic place to grow up. We're very fortunate.
So senior footy at McKinnon and coach, as I said, for quite a while. What age were you when it was time to move on?
Time to move on from McKinnon?
Yeah.
20. 20, yeah. Kingsley Ellis Kingsley Ellis took a nibble at me, actually, him and Frank Fidge, and they made me a very good offer to try and go over to Bentley. And the then bride, being a child bride myself, groom, the then bride said, "You'd better take this." So yeah, she got the better of me there, and tried to go over to to Bentley, and when Kinga was the coach. And then it didn't go through, and the Federal League got onto it, and I just crossed to Merimbula 4 games in 1974, missed the first 4 games. And the bloke there, Graham Black, who was the captain, Grubber, played cricket with him at McKinnon, legendary cricketer at McKinnon. Yeah, and ended up playing in a flag, and lucky enough to be premiership player and BNF that year.
And so you built some really strong relationships at Merimbula over a long time.
Yeah. Well, Kev Duncan was the father of one of the players there, and Kev was just a great man with young men in terms of getting you feeling comfortable about being prepared to give your best, and made you feel 6 foot tall. And you know, he was at that stage in life where he could afford to buy you a beer after the game and all that, and he had some classic sayings. You know, he'd always open up, all I want is your undivided attention. So I use that when I talk to my boys down here, and, and then a new bloke would come out, and he'd say things like, drinking and sex are not compulsory at this club, and everyone would look around. Later on I use that, and no wonder I was a dud coach. So
not compulsory, that's an interesting
yeah, no one owned a peg, meaning you could go and hang your gear up anywhere you liked. They were fantastic sayings of just saying how simple, you know, the local footy club was in accepting people into it.
Had a big impact on you, didn't it?
Oh yeah, bloody oath. It was great friends out of it, and you know, you have your responsibilities with your family, bringing them up, but always great to catch up with those mates. And a lot of people came across to Merimbula through their friendship with me, and they had some great careers at Merimbula. Ian McCormick, he won a couple of BNFs at Merimbula, then went on and represented the VFA via playing at Paran. Bloody good player, Macca, and there are others as well that served the club really well, and we had some talent there in that mid-70s period. Played off in 2 grand finals, and great times, yeah.
So we get into the late 70s, early 80s, and the journey for Steve Barnes goes beyond Merimbula.
Yeah, went to Waverley. I went there because I was getting sick of having my head knocked off my shoulders playing in the South East Suburban Footy League, and I said
pretty rough.
It was pretty hard, mate. Yeah, pretty hard. I remember a grand final, and the word was out that myself and a fellow by the name of Neil Chamberlain were going to get KO'd, and yeah, I certainly got KO'd that day in the grand final, and couldn't address the boys, and Neil actually addressed the boys, and they still mock him about that whenever they catch up. But Neil, like, just with Neil, he came across, he played the first 4 games of the year, in the first with Melbourne under Bobby Skilton, won the Gardner Medal the year before. He just walked out, came and played with Merimbula. That doesn't happen now.
No.
And it was a wonderful player. He went, when I left, Neil, not because I left, but a coincidence, he also went to Camberwell, played great footy with Camberwell in the VFA. A wonderful player, but yeah, they're the things that you don't see now. No one comes out of in the 1 year and plays league football at the local, and then at the local club they play locally. You know, so yeah.
So interesting, you say it was pretty rough and tumble where you were, and you're trying to get away with it by going to the VFA, which, you know, by reputation was a pretty rough and tumble competition for a long time. I
can remember playing against Werribee, and Trevor Pryce had gone from Coburg to Werribee. I played rover, but when you came off, you went into the pocket. I can tell you very quickly, even though there were no wings in the VFA, I was playing up on the wing when Trevor Pryce was standing around. Yeah. He'd ripped Gunnar Scarlett's eyelid out in the tear duct out, I should say. Gunnar Scarlett was Matty Scarlett's father.
Yeah, that's
played
right.
200 games. Great player, and he was playing with Geelong West. But Trevor Pryce, he was pretty nasty with the cricket ball too. He's swift as a bowler.
So VFA footy now at Waverley, as a playing coach initially?
No, I went there, played 3 years there, and finished in the top 3 in the BNF in those 3 years, and then was approached to coach Scoresby.
Right.
And went to Scoresby in the first divvy. That was good.
That was a big challenge, though, based on what you'd been doing before.
Out of the Eastern League. Absolutely, yeah. It was a great comp, the Eastern Footy League, and it was an honour to be asked to coach Scoresby, and we played off in the finals. Barry Price was my opposing captain coach. He wasn't a bad player. Beautiful kick of the footy. We were playing on bog heaps. I can remember one game they said, Essendon are down, we're playing North Ringwood. They said Essendon are down to look at a young 16-year-old who's debuting in the seniors at North Ringwood. Anyway, you could see these Essendon officials walking around, and we started the game, and at the first bounce, the young bloke's in the middle, the very first bounce of the game, and there's this mighty crack of it in the pack. You know, it was a real hard hit. I wasn't part of it, I can assure you, but a real hard hit. And Berkey from us, Stephen Berkey, who could play, and was one of those guys that had the ability to really time the bump. He's got the young bloke broken his leg. That young bloke didn't play for 18 months, and that was the kid that was Essendon were looking at. But he went on and captained the premiership at Essendon, Gary O'Donnell.
Ah, yes.
And then another game, the first game I coached was against Vermont, and they had this bloke coming in off the square, taking the clearances. And the next time round we played him, I said to Johnny Cunningham, who I think was captain at Vermont, I said, the big cunners, that bloke that was winning the footy for you is coming off the square, where's he gone? He said, oh, he's in at Essendon, Daisy Williams. You know, you cop things like that. It was just, it was great. It was good to be a part of it. And Scoresby's Ronnie Roberts Senior, Ronnie Roberts Junior is the major sponsor of Bentley Football Club now, with Barnes Locksmiths, and Ronnie Roberts Senior. He did a mighty job. I learned a few life lessons from Ronnie Roberts Senior. God bless him.
You've thrown the name Barnes in there. It's a well-used name in community football. And this goes to what we're leading to here. It's certainly all about your network, isn't it? When you add up all these experiences, and then
the game's about people.
Yeah, and then back into the southern competition from there. You know, after some success, Waverley, Scoresby, and back down this way.
Yep.
Merimbula again.
Yeah, great.
Continue that association.
Always when they were in trouble, Gould usually make contact with me.
And when you came back the second time, it wasn't looking great for them, was it?
Waverley, like a lot of clubs, had gone under at that stage, and a few boys from Waverley came across and played, and we were in the top three of the second division then, as it was, along with East Brighton and Parkdale, who were both very good sides. And those two, we missed out on playing off in the grand final. That was in '88, but Parkdale and East Brighton played off. And the next year, I think it was East Brighton that won it. Yeah, it was East Brighton that won it because, the chap lived nearby that played in the ruck for East Brighton. He lived near us at that time, and they won I think they won the next year in the first divvy. That's how good they were. But anyway, yeah, that's how it was.
And some success this time as a non-playing coach at Merimbula?
No, I was captain coach then.
You're still playing there, but did eventually just
the last year, it was in 2002, I think it was. Or it might have been a bit later. I can't remember the years run by. But the last time Merimbula were in First Division, Darren Kapler had finished a terrific reign there as coach, taking them from second divvy to First Division. And they were in a pretty challenging position, and I strategically coached from the bottom, assuring them of success from there on. Look, one of the greatest volunteers I've seen in footy was Ross Gould, and that was way back before I went to Merimbula.
He sadly passed away a couple of years ago.
Just it's probably 15 months ago Ross went, and so was one of the people that was sitting with us at the funeral. He went within almost 6 months of that in Robbie Flower. And Rob was always supporting Merimbula. He could go. He was pretty good, the old Robbie. Good family, the Flowers. You know, Jimmy, his older brother Jimmy. They used to come around and buy slide grog off me when they were teenagers.
Not sure you want to be broadcasting that stuff.
No, it was just stuff I'd knocked off from a party.
Just the way the world.
Empty cans. The Flowers were silly. They bought it. It's a bit of a joke.
So the coaching day is virtually over, but well entrenched by this stage in the southern competition.
Yep.
Bit of radio, bit of board work.
Yeah.
A jack of all trades, really. We're talking goal umpire for a little while even.
Yeah, no, it was something I decided to do because I wanted to get a little bit more of a feel for the SFL umpiring group and also how clubs treated the umpies on match day, and just so I thought the best way was to throw myself into that, and I loved it, absolutely loved it. Great people, our umpires, they really are. We mightn't agree with all their decisions, and like all of us who have umpired, you can have an absolute Barry Crocker, but at the end of the day, you need a bit of tickety-boo to butter up again the next time and show your character. So, no, we've got great people there. Peter Martin, Al Manning, Peter Mayer's stepped into the top role now. Sure. It's just, Keithy Marks, like Keithy umpired over 1,000 games with the league as a goal umpire. He's deaf and dumb. Great sportsman, Keith Marks. Great sportsman. And he's a Merimbula boy originally, and played table tennis against him. He was a very, very good table tennis player. Good scalp to have on the belt. Yeah.
Very good. Of course, then there's S. Barnes, board member, league board member. Yeah. Now, they tried for a little while to get you to join up, but...
Tony Troon, I reckon Tony asked me about 6 times, and I said to my wife, bloody Tony keeps asking me to join the board. I don't think it's me. And she said, well, they're in a bit of trouble. You should try and give them a hand. You've been around long enough. So she obviously wanted me out of the house.
Understandably.
And anyway, I got into it, and probably one of the most satisfying things I've done. Damn tough, but, fortunate enough, second year in, David Andrew came in as the chairman of the league, but not just David, everyone really met the challenge with responsibility. The league was at a low base there, and it's a credit to everyone that it's lifted. It's gone from, I think, mid-20s around about when I went onto the board to 32 now in clubs. We've got under 19s, and I can remember when that was starting up, people were saying, because that was the thing I was really keen to get happening, and people just said, oh no, we haven't had it for 12 years, it won't happen. And I went to the AMOs, and I went to the MPNFL. We needed a comp to play in because we weren't going to get a comp amongst our own. Ronnie Jenkins, Robbie Everett, great men leading the Cheltenham Footy Club at the time, fantastic blokes. And Ronnie said to me, we're going to try and get a side up. Got Phil Sparrow in.
Yes.
And they took it on, they won the flag in the MPNFL Colts team. And people would come into the Cheltenham ground and they'd be saying, what's going on here? And I'd be there when it was a home game for Cheltenham under 19s, and they'd be playing, or under 18s as it was then, and they'd be playing Seaford. And I knew Rick East, the then president of Seaford, and Rick was saying how good it was. And these people from the club that was playing the senior Cheltenham sides were asking how come their club didn't have it. And that was the starting point, and there was a great effort by those guys.
But under 19s was just a part of it. Now, I spent a little bit of time with you in the boardroom there as well, and there were some really good quality people in there. But I remember hearing you say a number of times, I'm just a humble forklift driver, from your opinion, for what it's worth. You probably sell yourself a bit short there, Steve.
Oh, I'm a shocking forklift driver. I'm getting worse with age.
I have heard that too.
I don't stop when I hit something, but look, I haven't always done that. I did work in a professional environment, and circumstances led to that shifting, and but now it is the forklift, and I thank me mate Alan Logan for that.
You played that car very well, but I think what I'm alluding to is that you did bring some pretty significant management and local football skills to the board, and made a significant contribution. Also, your time as a radio announcer, community radio.
It was great fun. I mean, someone's got to do those roles, and Hammers and Rowan Schreier, like myself, they had a crack at it. Beanie said he'd break my arm if I didn't let him sit in. And that, but he gets angry, Johnny does. But look, the bottom line is we've all got that common denominator. We love our local footy. We love it, and it doesn't matter what I've learned over my journey. It doesn't matter what the standard is. It's what it brings to your community, and as long as you're applying the right practices.
Well, that leads to my next question, and in particular, with all of that passion for local football, with everything going on with community radio and sitting on the board, and a former goal umpire, You walked away from it all.
Jeff Mark would love that.
You walked away from it all to be a part of the rebirthing of this football club, Karen Patterson Lakes.
Yeah, look, I put it out there who was interested in helping start up a club, and Mark Boland responded, and my initial aim was to work from board level as a silent partner with Karen Patterson Lakes, but in the end they asked me to be the president, and no regrets.
Yeah.
Some tough times, but no regrets. It's been a great thing for this community. It's the best football community I've ever stepped foot into. It reminds me of McKinnon when I was, and Bentley as when I was a kid.
I was going to ask you, how does that compare? Because certainly the community ties here are now strong, and a few years into it there's been some success, a lot of wins, a couple of grand final appearances.
1.5.
Yeah, and what's next for Karen Patterson Lakes?
Oh, we'll try and win as many games as we can this year at our various levels, and just all I ask for is that we give our best, and that's our best in preparation and best in competing, and we'll find our level through that. So, yeah, that's basically it.
So, beyond the presidency, Karen Patterson Lakes, what's next for Steve Barnes?
I'm finishing after this year.
Right.
I will still help with the club, but I'm over meetings.
Well, you've probably sat through a few.
I've sat
over
through
the
a
years.
few, and no.
So just fly off into the sunset, or there'll be some sort of involvement. You can't help it.
Well, I've got some, Mitchell Cooks coming through the ranks at Dingley. I think Lockie Meehan could come through the ranks down at Cheltenham or Hampton. Jake and Chase Curtis could possibly pop up at Morty Alec. They're all players of the future. So along with Cohen Curtis, I better include him. They're my grandsons, but they're all into it. So I'm looking forward to that. And I want to see how the kids. I want to just be a bit more at their events.
Yeah, good.
Yeah, without stuffing them up.
Getting it, just silent in the background.
Correct.
Some people who know you would probably say that might be difficult to do. But Steve, life member, Hall of Fame member, premiership coach, terrific footballer.
Premiership player. Greatest thing, just with the Merimbula premiership. I'll take it to my grave. The day before the game, we're playing ball, and Johnny Laxton, one of our teammates, he said, "Barnesy, if we need a goal to win the game, no matter where I am on the ground, I will do it." Well, blow me down, only a minute or two to go. Lacko gets the footy, gets a free right on the boundary at the Camwell ground. He's a right footer, can't kick left footer. He's on a left foot angle, but no daylight. He's shredded it. He's come screaming past me. He said, "I told you I'd do it. I told you I'd do it." And whenever I catch up with Johnny, it hasn't changed. And his niece is great mates with one of my daughters, just for a bloke to actually profit that, and if I could go back to the Federal League, I mean, I remember Johnny Salvato. Billy Ossel was coaching East Malvern. He took him to 3 flags. He played footy with Dad. He was friends with Dads. He played at Bentley and Moorabbin. 3 flags in a row. You'd see Johnny Salvato kick 100 goals. They had some terrific players that came out of league footy, like Graham Cliff. Cliffy played a lot of footy at Caulfield, along with Magic Maguire. All terrific sportsmen. I can remember chasing Blair Campbell down the ground when he was playing with East Malvern. He wouldn't even know me, but he played footy with Richmond and Melbourne, and he's running away from the goals, and I'm trying to catch him. He's wearing these baggy shorts, and he's saying, "Don't worry, mate, I'm not going to our goals." And the next thing, he's kicked it. He was a master of the boomerang kick, as we call it in those days. He's put it through, and I've never seen anyone do stuff what he did, and he did that at league level. He didn't play a lot of league footy, but he then went and played state cricket for Victoria and Tasmania, and didn't know the guy, but just remembered him because he was so different. Kingsley Ellis, he was he came in after Kenny Loney and I had played one of our first senior games. We were juniors playing in the seniors, and Kingsley come in and they'd beaten us as they always would, and Kinga came in. Never seen a coach come in after a game, and he's addressed the team and what have you, and he's mentioned Ken and my name, and we looked at each other and said, Christ, he knows us, you know. It was, and that's the type of great man he is for a local level.
So many relationships, associations over a lifetime in career football. And I can say, as long as plenty of people who watch this video would say that they won as well. Just want to thank you for your contribution. It's been
Thanks, mate.
Absolute gold, mate. And thanks for your time.
Thanks, Wiz. It's great to see our league going forward.
Thanks, Dan.
Cheers, mate.